Now, especially for audit, what we have to understand and which makes it different from assessment and testing is that this team has to be an independent team. By independent team, I mean that this team should not be the same team who runs either the operations or the compliance management. So operations and compliance management. Operations generally test the regular security testing, compliance management test the security assessment. But this team has to be independent. It has to be a different team, and the reason for this is that we have to avoid something called conflict of interest, right? So if we have the same ops and compliance team doing audit, then there is obviously a conflict of interest, because these guys will be trying to show that we are working in a good way, in a compliant way, and that will make obviously the audit result will become weak in that case. So this is the difference. Now, internal audit is very obvious that in the organization, in the whole security governance structure, we have a team which is like the team of internal auditors, which time to time check the ops and compliance portion of the security infrastructure, and they advise senior management, they advise ops team, and they follow a hierarchy. So this is internal security audit team. The external security audit team is basically it's an outside company, outside firm which does audit for a company. So there are big companies like Deloitte, EY, PwC, KPMG. They do all these external audits. Now, the main topic for which I am making this video is the SOC report, right? So there is a third type of audit which we call this is internal and external, which I explained here. There is a third type of audit which is actually called third party audit. And why we are discussing third party audit is because in current age, every company is too much interdependent on another company. So let me give a quick example that we may be a, let's say we may be a telecom company. Let's take an example of any company, let's say Telstra. Now this telecom company, the prime business of this telecom company will be maybe the mobile phones, the broadband, and some other things like fixed line. So these may be its prime business, but this company depends on many other companies. Like there will be some logistics company which Telstra will depend on, right? So they have a relationship. Then there will be some sort of credit check company. There will be some hardware vendors, right? So there will be a number of companies which will be doing business with the parent company. Now what happens that if there is an audit required on this parent company, and which mandates that this parent company also does this audit also includes audit of all these three companies. I'm showing only three, but it may be like more than 100 companies, right? So it will be too much burden on this parent company. Like it will be overburdened by, like, the audit scope will be very large, too much work to do. So to solve this to this issue, there are some standard reports which there are two organizations, which is SAE 18, not organization, is engagement basically, and ISAE 3402. They actually sort of formalized the SOC audits, and they actually made this audit in 3 type of reports, which is called SOC 1, SOC 2 and SOC 3, right? So SOC 1 basically focuses on the finance. SOC 2 is what we are discussing, the security part of the IT, which is my CIA, confidentiality, integrity and availability, and SOC 2 report is confidential. It's not meant for general public. And SOC 3 report is the same SOC 2 report, but it's for public disclosure, right? So this is the difference. Now SOC 2 report can also be shared with public, but with signing an NDA. So if we sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, then this can be made public, but SOC 3 report is meant for public. I don't know exact difference between SOC 2 and SOC 3 in terms of if they are the same report, how come SOC 3 is a public report, like it can be disclosed to public, and not SOC 2. What I can think of, that there may be certain sensitive information in SOC 2 which will be removed to make it SOC 3, and then that will be for public disclosure. Now each of this SOC report can be of 2 types. So each of this SOC report, either it could be type 1 or type 2. A small difference. So type 1 is basically just reviewing the claimed security controls on papers, right? So if there is a company, it is running a security program, that security program will have all the security controls documented somewhere. Then the auditor will prepare a type 1 report, and it will say that based on the nature of this business and the structure of this organization, these controls are okay or not okay, right? So it will just make a reference to the existing documents and recommend, right? This is type 1 report, and this recommendation will be for the specific time of report, a specific time of report. It will not be for, it will not say something like that, okay, this control is valid for 1 month or 6 months or 1 year, and this is obvious because we are not going to go in details and verify these controls. We are just doing an audit on what is being claimed and whether this claim is suitable for this organization or not. Now we can think of type 2, how it will be. The type 2 report goes in more detail and check that the controls, here we discuss about controls. Now here it will say that whether these controls are properly functioning or not in type 2 report. So type 2 report not only tells about what type 1 report is, it will include all the things of type 1 report, but it will also confirm that whether this is functioning properly or not. So it's more, I will say, complete report in the sense that it's more realistic to the sense that what is working and what is not working. But in type 1 we just go by the belief that okay, this is implemented and this is working. And this report is not only for a specific time, it may go to 6 months or more, right? So this is how SOC reports, SOC type 2 reports are, right? So the key point, whatever we have to keep in mind for the exam perspective, what I think, I haven't given the exam yet, but I think that we should know the difference between the major things, like let me highlight the difference between security testing and security assessment. There may come a question which will give options and to let us think and decide whether it is an assessment or a testing. I don't know. Security audits, I have seen questions on SOC reports. So this is definitely, we should know that these are the 3 types of SOC reports and the type of those SOC reports. So type 1 is just the recommendation of the existing controls. Type 2, not only recommendation but the confirmation on the function as well. I hope you liked the video and thanks for watching it.